Time now for your forewarned weather.
So we did have it end to the rain today, for the most part, right? What's coming up next?
Well, hey, you forgot the wind. You forgot the cold temperatures.
A little bit of everything.
It was a crazy weather day. Today we were about 30 to 40 degrees colder than yesterday at some points. A little bit ridiculous.
It's a big change.
Big change.
Big change.
Yes, and it's all thanks to this cold front that rolled through. All the weather is to blame, or the cold front's to blame for all that active weather.
Ooh, that's pretty.
This is a pretty shot coming out of Salt Lake City. Meg Roberts sent this our way. Beautiful pastel colors during this sunset. Southern Utah started the day off pretty clear, but as daytime heating added extra energy and tapped into that moisture, you're going to see those storms really starting to bubble up. Right around 4 or 5 o'clock is where we are right now. You see those showers rolling over the higher terrain in southern Utah, but it didn't hit everywhere. Look at that beautiful sunset down there at 9:10 tonight. Radar shows that we are clearing on out, but there is still some echoes of moisture up here in the north. We have a little bit towards Smithfield, a little bit heading towards Logan and Cache Valley, and then the northern Wasatch Front up into eastern Box Elder County, looking at a couple of showers. And then we have this little cell here in the Ogden Valley that's bringing moderate to heavier precipitation. Now, as we bring it down to the south, you notice there's a lot more widespread rain, but it is just a light rain from Iron County all the way into Washington County, a little bit towards Paiute as well. We're looking at some snow in the mountains, generally above 8,000 or 9,000 feet, but we could see some snow drop all the way down to 7,000 feet. We'll talk about that in a second. High temperatures since midnight running about 10 to 15 degrees below average. We're in the 50s in the north, 60s in central Utah, and then the eastern part of the state in the 70s, 80 degrees in Vernal, 84 from Moab. That's thanks to that southerly flow ahead of that cold front. All right, if we take a look outside right now, you notice we have partly cloudy skies and not much precipitation here in the Salt Lake Valley. That is going to change. Temperatures right now 50 degrees where you're looking right now, 47 for Logan, 48 in Ogden, 51 in Provo, and St. George still sitting at a comfy 68 degrees. Of course, those temperatures are going to continue dropping overnight, reaching the mid-40s by around midnight with the chance of showers. But as we get into the morning hours, we're going to start to see that wet weather potential increasing, and the temperatures are going to be slow to increase. By 10 a.m., we're still going to be in the 40s with showers and thunderstorms starting to make their way into the Wasatch Front. Lows tonight are going to drop into the 40s and 30s across the state, 29 degrees in Evanston, flirting with freezing for some places like Beaver, Ely, getting well into the 20s. 54 degrees will be the low tonight in St. George. So tomorrow we have another threat for storms. Today it was more in the western portion of the state. Tomorrow it shifts towards the east, but northern Utah stays locked in, and that's thanks to wraparound moisture. And you're going to see that here on our Futurecast. Here's that cold front that is responsible for all the active weather. The early morning hours, we're still going to see a decent amount of precipitation down in the southwest portion of the state, but that clears out fairly quickly and moves to eastern Utah. And then there's that wraparound moisture impacting the north, and that is going to bring scattered thunderstorms all the way from lunchtime to dinner time and even later, possibly even into bedtime. And then as we get into Thursday, we do have a couple more showers holding on, but not as much as we're going to see tomorrow. And then it clears on out by Thursday night into Friday. Let's look at the big picture here. Here's that low pressure system that brings us these stormy conditions. By tomorrow, we do stay socked in, but it starts to move on out, lifting a little bit towards the north. By Thursday evening, starts clearing out. And then here comes another system out of the Pacific Northwest, and that's going to transport plenty of moisture. And then with the daytime heating, of course, we're going to see a lot of thunderstorms starting to pop up all the way into Monday, possibly even into Tuesday, before that high pressure system starts to build, pushing that wet weather out and keeping us a little bit warmer. Regional forecast shows that tomorrow we're going to be very active up here in the north, central and eastern Utah, looking at a couple thunderstorms as well. Temperatures in the mid to upper 50s up in the north, 60s for central and southern Utah. 76 degrees is the high tomorrow in St. George, and the 80s come back pretty quickly. We're in the low 80s for your Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Mostly cloudy skies Friday, but not expecting any precipitation. We do expect precipitation on Sunday, though. Look at that, a 14-degree drop in just a day, warming up to the 70s, 80s by your Tuesday. Scattered thunderstorms tomorrow along the Wasatch Front, becoming more isolated on Thursday. We do have a chance on Friday, but it's just a slight chance. And then that wet weather potential picks up Saturday evening. Scattered thunderstorms for Sunday again, with temperatures in the 60s and 50s yet again.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
A little drama in the forecast.
A lot of ups and downs.
Yeah.
Okay.